Welcome back. You are watching Choice 2017, where the political issues making headlines are currently being dissected here with my panel of four gentlemen, formidable gentlemen, I should say. Thank you very much for joining us. We are still on NASA threatening to boycott the August 8th elections in the event that the IEBC fails to pull out the case at the Court of Appeal over the announcement of results at the constituency level. Bonke says that the IEBC or NASA does not have any valid reasons. They're wasting their time with this. Owidi, you had different sentiments on this.
Of course I do. There are two things here. Does NASA have reasons for boycotting? And is boycotting the right way to sort out this mess?
Yes.
First, they have reasons, very valid. You know, in accounting, we have what we call books of original entry. For example, if you go to a shop, you buy something, you are given a receipt. If in the books at your office, the figures are different, we will go back and look at the receipt and say, what was on the receipt is what this thing was bought for. Now, we go to elections. The votes are counted at the polling centers. Then we tally them at the constituency tallying center. That is more valid than any other figure that may come out anywhere else in the process to the national tallying center.
So is boycotting the best way to go about it?
So we cannot want to legalize changing these figures on the way to the national tallying center. Now, this is a political issue. People of NASA are politicians. Those of Jubilee are politicians. And NASA believes that Jubilee is behind this court thing. So they have to handle it politically, trying to handle it by the courts. And you know the courts are appointed by Jubilee. They want to keep their jobs.
My take is,
allow me to respond to that.
Let me speak first.
My take is that this confirms actually Jubilee is planning to steal elections. Because obviously, if again this issue was sorted out by the courts, and even again the NASA, they met the IBC and they agreed until they could actually go to the polling stations and confirm the results. The only thing that they cannot do is to announce. But what is the problem if they will go have their own results and say these are the numbers that we're going to have? Why is it that IBC is so scared?
All right.
It means they're confirming that they are planning to steal these
Maduki, you're in
elections.
YPE, so in essence you're in NASA. What would be the repercussions if the court rules in favor of IEBC?
Why would actually, in the first place, want to go into an election that you know other people are planning to steal? Why would you want to go to an election that is already predetermined? Why would you know? Why do you want to check? Why do you want to carry votes from the polling station to a so-called national tallying center? If you are, it's called free and fair and transparent. And there's something called public perception, which is very important. The perception they are creating to the public is that they are planning to steal. Why is it that they cannot be able to count the votes from the polling station and say these are the results, as everyone can even be able to witness that?
So the result, if the court rules in favor of IEBC, would be boycotting?
I doubt whether the courts would want to go that direction. These are very sensitive matter in the first place. It's a matter of great public importance.
All right.
And therefore, I don't see courts actually going that direction because, again, they'll be put in this country. I've been chairing elections process in East Africa, in other countries, and I can tell you election is not something to play around with, and therefore, I don't think courts would want to go to that direction.
Okay, I understand we have about 8 minutes. I want us to tackle the last topic we have. Cabinet Secretary for Interior, Joseph Nkaissery, has warned politicians against using terms like, we have 10 million votes already in our basket, saying it is inciting Kenyans. I will start with you because you're in NASA.
Yes.
How are you going to get this 10 million votes?
10 million strong. And I can tell you the votes are there, and that is why Jubilee is so much scared. If you look at possibly the western part of this country, the Nyanza, the western, give them about 5 million votes. In the lower eastern, where I come from, we have 2.5. That is already 7.5 million votes. If you take cost, actually, you give another 1.5. That's almost 9 million. The northern Kenya and other Kenyans, you give them 1. That's 10 million. So easy. And we've done research, so we know. So it's something that is so obvious that we may not need even to clarify. I can tell you it is be 10 million plus.
10 million plus?
Yes.
What would it be for Jubilee, Bonke?
This 10 million plus, who is going to confirm this 10 million plus, who is going to confirm it? And they want to boycott the election, and they have a problem with the IBC. It tells you how clueless and rudderless the opposition we have is, how they are so clueless and rudderless. The main reason as to why Cabinet Secretary of Interior is trying to dismiss this issue of 10 million plus, they are trying to poison the brains of Kenyans and especially their supporters.
But we have also seen Jubilee say they will win with 70 plus 1.
70 plus, but no one has complained about it. You cannot say 10 million plus. 10 million plus is like, they're trying to exaggerate this issue and telling Kenyans that this is what we are going to, the research they've done, we are the ruling party, to be precise, right? We have the intelligence. We know him more than he knows himself. So when I'm talking, as far as this discussion is concerned, I'm representing the government. We have whatever is going on. We know whatever they are trying to, the communications they're making, you know, as the opposition and whatever they're trying to do, how they're inciting their supporters and everything. So we cannot allow Kenyans. When we had the issue of Unga, I'll take you back to that. Opposition did not come up with a solution. When people are crying because of anger, they could not even advise and engage the government that this is a serious issue, because even their relatives were also complaining. When Unga was 150 shillings, even their relatives were buying at the same price. They did not come up with a solution. So opposition we are having, there are these politicians who are suffering from political hangover. And recently they pick...
but should the opposition constantly be giving the ruling government solutions? Isn't that their job?
No, they should consult. That's what even Obama told them when he was here, that you cannot criticize your government each and every day. If there's a problem, I will agree that we have there are repercussions and we have our challenges. But you need to engage. If you claim to be a national leader, you should engage the head of state that have the solution based on your experience.
All right.
Obama is
10 million votes.
Yeah, and, you know,
10 million strong.
We are in a campaign, and sometimes I think we want to take things too seriously, honestly, because
we must take things seriously because we are going to vote.
You've fairly said that we've been saying 70% plus 1, and their slogan is 10 million strong. You know, during the traditional days when people are going to war, they used to have a way of psyching themselves up. You know, I think war chants and war songs to psych yourself. As in street parlance, we call it kujichocha. So Jubilee is inajichocha na 70% plus 1. Wanajichocha na 10 million strong. How is that really a security issue? You're trying to mobilize your people in the best way, you know. So, you know, the only difference between me and him is that he speaks for government. Me, I'm a government support. I don't speak for them, but I am a government support. So I'm also Jubilee. But I would advise Nkaiseri not to start making this 10 million thing become a reality. People might start saying this, what we are fearing, and it's probably real, and it become attractive all of a sudden. That's a slogan. It should be left just as it is, a slogan. Ours is 70% plus. Let's do campaigns and let people be.
Do you agree, Widi?
Honestly, I find Nkaiseri a very overrated cabinet secretary. To come, warning people not to campaign, not to give their supporters hope, that is not his job. And I don't think in electoral duties he has any role. He came out saying that they should not tell their people that they are going to win. That is what he's saying in other words. But in fact, even if those parties said they are going to get all the 20 million, that is good. Aim at the sun to hit the moon. So I think Nkaiseri, that thing is, he didn't think through it. He didn't think through it.
No, sorry, I want to interject. Nkaiseri is a security expert. He's a former major. Nkaiseri is trying to analyze and conceptualize that sentiment as far as security is concerned. When you are telling your supporters, because I
think you are making a mistake calling Nkaiseri a security expert.
He is.
He is an army man. That is it. There are people who are trained to deal with these matters.
Listen,
I don't
Nkaiseri
think
is one of the competent professional security officers we have in this country. Nkaiseri has done it, and we must celebrate. That is the problem we have with the opposition. What Nkaiseri has done since he took this docket of security, he has really managed the security system of this country. So if you say something here which can incite somebody in Nyalgunga, Nkaiseri will take it head on. So if you are inciting Kenyans that 10 million plus, so you are trying to prepare somebody about operator in Kisii, that if we don't, if they dismiss this, and they are saying right now, what our running, the running...
His name is Peter.
Yeah,
yes. Kavemba has a question too. Let's
how many registered
ask a question.
How many, yes. Allow me to do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've said, how many registered voters do we have as per IBC? Can 70% plus 1 be quantified?
It can be 13.5 million.
Would there be anything wrong if we were going around to the country saying 13.5 million strong? Would there be anything wrong?
Yes, there's something wrong with that.
Okay, then that's where we differ.
Can I explain?
One thing, now, before you
But I think next needs to tell Kenyans how telling us we are going to get 10 million is going to bring insecurity.
No,
that is what
when
we need to
you're
know.
telling a border operator in Kisii that we have this number of votes, 10 million plus, and at the same time, the three of you, you are blaming the two of you, you are blaming the IBC, that the government is beyond the IBC. These are an independent
But the question
body.
isn't 70 plus 1 if you quantify it?
7 plus 1 is in the
there-
Constitution.
Does it not mean the same thing?
What is that?
50 plus 1 is.
Yeah,
No, it
please.
is in the Constitution.
This is my take. This is
All
my,
right,
this is my
gentlemen,
take.
okay, to have the last one.
Yeah, this is
we need to-
2010
we
or
need to
another
wrap it up.
This is my
Have the last
take.
one,
This is my
Maduki.
take. The last time I checked, with a lot of respect to Gaiseri, is he quit politics and became a clerical and executive, and therefore, with a lot of respect, I think you need to guide properly. This can never be a security issue. There will be no difference between when somebody says 10 million strong and 70% plus 1. Yeah. So let him not become a puppet or mislead Kenyans for his sake.
All right, gentlemen, unfortunately, we have to end it at that. Very interesting show here. Kumwai Bonke, political analyst, affiliated to Jubilee. Odoyo Widi, political analyst. Peter Mathuki, Member of Parliament at Iala and running mate to Avinyan Deti for the gubernatorial position in Machakos County, as well as Richard Kavemba, political analyst. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming in tonight. We end it on that note here on Choice 2017. Always a pleasure to have you tuned in here. Ben Kitili comes in next with KTN Primetime News. Don't miss out on that. My name is Akisa Ondera. Good night.